Good evening, RPG Limit Break and Free Enterprise fans. We are here for the final table of League Forge Percent. I am Invenerable. Tonight on commentary, I'm joined with Nitsky. How are you tonight, Nits?
I'm doing excellent. Hope Chad is doing well, and I hope you're doing well as well.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Great game type we have going here. Of course, getting a little bit of echo coming through there, by the way, just so you know. Uh, Really great flag set. It's really the main line one that we used in the Highway to the Zemus Zone League last summer, but we've added in V1, Forge the Crystal. You can't just find your crystal out there. You still have to get both the Adamant and the Legend Sword, take it to Kakol, and forge it. So our racers have a little more ground they're going to have to cover before they can actually get onto Zeromus and, kick that booty tonight.
Absolutely, and we have four of our top runners at the final table here. We've got Rivers McCown, chocosura, Poidrac, and nightdew. Um, so far, chocosura on our table has 12 World Series points. Rivers has 7, and this is nightdew and Poidrac's first final table, so they're looking to get on the board to try and win that big prize at the end there.
Exactly. And one other thing about this too is that although not all these racers have accrued World Series points, plenty of them very well-known names you'll have seen before. Rivers and nightdew both made it to the final four of the Highway to the Zima Zone tournament. Nightdew being the runner-up in that behind El Magus. Chocosura also was in the final 8 of that. Poidrac, a little more of a latecomer, didn't really get involved in Highway to the Zima Zone at the time, but now yeah, Nitsky, your mic is picking up and doing a little echo there. But Poidrac, excellent showing on his way to this final table, and looking to see how well all four of these racers perform tonight.
Let me see, try that again there. As we're just waiting, I believe just a couple of minutes for everyone to finally ready up there. And I will quickly just check my mic here. I apologize for this problem here. Let me give that a try there.
Yeah, let's see. Is it picking me up now? Because what was happening, I could see your name light up, but now I think we're all set. So all that's left is our keymaster to set everyone free, and we should be good to go.
Absolutely, and we have a telestart. So just looking at a telestart, what might we see in terms of beginning game from our runners there in Ven?
Well, Tella does have some great utility right out the gate. He has a lot more HP than some starting characters. Few spells, not a lot of damage output. He does notably have the exit spell. So if they don't have a good secondary character to partner up with at the beginning, we may see our racers going to additional places to loot because you can at least hop right out with exit instead of having to completely backtrack the entire way.
That sounds great. Hopefully, what do you think the best secondary character might be?
Well, although he's not that great at the end game, I'm always a fan of seeing a starting Sid. We do have that CX flag on, which means we can't have a starting Fu, we can't have a starting Edge. If they're out there, they're gated by at least one key item. Uh, However, a starting Sid comes at level 25, great physical attack power, can pretty easily clear a way through Antlion Cave, Hobbs, and Fabul. So honestly, I like a Sid start in this situation.
Here's here's hoping for a Sid start for our runners. For those people who might want them to troll a little bit, maybe a Porum, maybe a Rydia, something a little more challenging.
Yeah, Rydia, of course. I mean, one of everyone's favorite characters from the original game. We love her summons. You'd love to eventually get those really powerful tier 3 spells. Early game, though, very hard to bring her up to speed. Porum, same. Uh, Notably, what we could see a Dark Knight Cecil start, which basically would give us the Mount Ordeals dream team. It's always a gamble to skip Ordeals. You hate to go there just if you're getting 3 bosses for 1 key item, but Tella will get all his spells unlocked there. If you have a Dark Knight Cecil, he'll become a paladin, and his utility shoots through the roof. So hopefully, uh, we'll see something that makes our racers have to make that kind of trade-off decision. Dark Knight Cecil means everyone's going to ordeals. Other characters, we may see our racers gamble a little bit and say, I have a hook, I have a magma key, I'm not doing ordeals. Let everyone else waste their time there. I'm seeking greener pastures. Yeah, chat, I believe we have diagnosed the microphone problem. We are getting it fixed and set up. Should be, Nitsky should be back with us shortly. For now, anyone in the chat who's unfamiliar with Free Enterprise, this is a Final Fantasy IV open world randomizer. At the start of the game, you get two characters, potentially a key item, and the airship, and whatever is open and ungated to you, you can go. Key items, kind of gate locations, your levels and gear gate locations. So it's basically what can I handle, how can I handle it in the most efficient manner, and how do I build my team with the ultimate goal of defeating Zeromus. Which, of course, Tella being part of that crew could be a little tricky. In the meantime, wondering what is taking time for things to get fixed and the race to get underway. We do apologize for the delay. Seems we are having a few other technical difficulties across streams. Nitsky, are you back with us now? Ah, gotcha. Thank you, Natara, in the chat, clarifying that. Nitsky, I saw you light up. Are you with me, buddy?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. And I'm not hearing popping yet. Chat, let us know if that comes around again. We'll see what we can do about it. But yeah, so far with the World Series, we've been through a couple of other flag sets already. Appleseed, Giant Percent, and now League Forge Percent. Nitsky, which has been your favorite to race of these thus far, and what are you looking forward to in the weeks to come?
Great question, Invenerable. My personal favorite is just Appleseed. You know, get what you need, get out, super fast seeds. I am looking forward to Catalyte. I myself am not great at it, but I really like to see how people do with sort of minimalist gear and minimalist items. You can't go and just kind of buy your way out of problems, etc.
Absolutely. That is one thing that we may see on this seed, by the way. You'll note that we have an S2 flag available. That means that shops have balanced items. And we also have the J flag on, JIA. And there are a lot of Japanese items that have been put back into Free Enterprise that you wouldn't have played on your SNES growing up. They're items that cast Reflect on a given character of your team. Berserk. You can freeze an enemy party in its tracks with an Hourglass item. Lots of utility here. It can also be interesting to see how many racers decide to do that shopping early, get it out of the way, versus ones who risk finding bosses where all of a sudden you would, you know, give your old sage here for the sake of having a Starvale.
So just in case everyone joining from the front page, what we're doing here is the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise open world randomizer created by the amazing board face and all the development team, riversmccown, and everybody else making this an amazing game, making Final Fantasy IV awesome again. So if you're interested, you can definitely check it out at the website there.
Oh yeah, it's a game that I have fond memories of. It was really my first RPG that got me into the genre as a whole. So having this now in our adult lives to come back and just breathe fresh life into the game, get people racing it in creative and interesting ways, finding out new things about monster scripts and the way that items and even the way the agility system works in this game. A lot of interesting discoveries being had over the past year thanks to Free Enterprise.
Ab- Absolutely, it's been a joy to watch it from the beginning, and I can't wait to see what happens and basically in the future.
Yeah. And we do apologize for the slight delay. We are having a bit of a capture card problem with one of our racers. We aren't just live here on Limit Break tonight. You see 4 of the racers in this final table here. We do have 12 racers who advanced at this stage. In addition to the 4 you see before you, chocosura, Rivers, Poidrac, and nightdew, we also have Racing Tonight, Error, Azentayama, Dusty Griff, Zyrak, Nirm, Supremacy, Kabahi, and Dragon Dark. Those other 8 racers are going to be broadcast on both the free Enterprise channel and the Randomania channel. So if when the dot done start rolling in, you see a name that you don't recognize on this screen, well, that's why. Uh, During the World Series of Enterprise, we have qualifiers every weekend, 4 of them. The top 2 racers to finish in each one advance to this table, as well as 4 more spots filled by relative finish to the pack using Z-score statistic stuff. No math required for you to understand. Just know that they placed well, they made it. They're looking to show their stuff tonight.
Absolutely, get your Magus no math emotes in the chat if you've got them.
A classic one. But yeah, I do see that our racer who was having technical difficulties has returned to the IRC channel. Hopefully, they've gotten everything sorted out. We'll know in just a moment, and we should be getting underway fairly quickly. So, Nitsky, what are you hoping for our starting item? Are you hoping that we just get a free adamant armor out the gate to speed things up a little bit, or something that'll make our racers a little more frustrated?
Um, I'm hoping for a magma key, to be honest. It would definitely open things up right away and would definitely see a lot of divergence between our runners here, also the runners on the other channels. I like to see more openings because you can basically go wherever you want, and the seed will basically be a lot more open. So it kind of balances things out a little bit.
Makes sense. And just so everyone is aware, for those of you who've not played Final Fantasy IV in a long time or Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise at all, there are 2 main ways underground. If you look at the key item trackers next to each character's timer, you see a claw that looks kind of like you're playing a crane game trying to win a stuffed animal. That is the hook, which will let you carry the hovercraft over to Cave Eblin and go through the path underground that you take a little later in the game. There's the magma key, which lets you take the first main route underground, which is opening the volcano, diving on in and opening the world. Magma Key, like Ned said, will give everyone a lot more variety of places to go, while the hook means everyone is going to be kind of funneled through a couple of possibly rude bosses. It does look like we lost a stream here. Our restreamer, Smate will be getting Poidrac back for us soon, but I think we're going to get started very soon. I see a bunch of GLHS in the IRC channel. Let's see if that gate gets open fairly soon.
It's definitely going to be a hype race. League Forge is, some people would call it the pinnacle of the FE flag sets, and it brings out basically the best of the best of the best. And I am definitely looking forward to an amazing seed and an amazing run from all of our runners.
Fingers crossed. And the gate is open. We should be seeing it catch up to us very soon. I'm excited to see this first character. We talked a little bit of the analysis of how things will play out, and I'm just glad to finally have an idea of, what our racers will actually be doing here.
What do you think it's going to be, Pat? You think it's going to be someone good like Sid? Someone bad like Porum? We'll find out.
It is someone who, well, will flip things around eventually, but we do get the pass as the first key item. It's actually kind of interesting. In normal, well, in not the V1 flag, but generally, if you find the crystal, even if you're on the moon exploring, you can go ahead and run to the Zeromus fight. One of the side effects of the V1 flag, forging it, is after you get that adamant and that legend sword, you have to run it back down to Kakol. Ooh, we have a little bit of a cropping issue here. Hopefully it'll get sorted out soon. There we go. Smape D is on the case. You always have to come back to Earth to forge your crystal, which means if you have the pass, you can take the shortcut through Troya. There's no longer a dance club there. Instead, you go straight to the Zeromus fight. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Uh, and so you no longer have to worry, oh, great. I have everything to make my crystal. Now I have to rush back to the moon. Everyone in this race is going to be able to just hightail it straight to the Zeromus fight.
Unless they have to find the darkness crystal and both of your key items are on the moon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll still have to come back to Earth, and you'll take the shortcut rather than the 5 minute walk. Oh, and I think one of our racers missed the starting gun. Gonna have a little bit of distance to make up, but this is a flag set where the right decisions and sometimes a lucky gamble will let you overcome those kind of deficits fairly quickly. So fingers crossed for Poidrac that he makes those plays that lets him narrow this gap just a little bit.
Absolutely. So we do see a little bit of divergence here at this point. We see Rivers McCown. He dumps into the Damsian treasury and picks up some items there, and then decides to go up ordeals. Whereas you see chocosura and nightdew going to Mist and looting Mist after looting Baron completely. So we're about to see who our first character is going to be at the top of Hobbs, and
Yeah.
we do see Edward in the Baron Inn.
So, although Yong is a great endgame character, he's not so hot at the beginning. His damage output is really based off of his level more than his weapons, which have no attack power. And so it takes him a little bit to get going. Luckily, Rivers has made a very good play rushing up here on Mount Hobbs, finding Kane there, fighting a vanilla Mom Bomb. Kane, fantastic character, start of game to end of game. Can equip more weapons than pretty much anyone else in the game, can equip tons of heavy armor, or if you want more stat stick bonus DPS armor, Kane's your boy. I know you have a particular fondness for him, so how are you feeling about this team at this point, Nets?
I think Rivers has made so far the best play of the match, but it's very early going, so anything is still possible.
Chokosura peeks the Kaipo bed, sees Rosa sleeping there. Another little bit that didn't quite get shuffled around with the randomization tonight, and silk webs in the shop. Very useful item. Will apply 2 doses of slow to any monster you use it on, even bosses. There's also very fortunate to have a spare hourglass here that he found while looting. This will freeze all the bombs in place. Should not have to worry about them either just punching his team to death or eventually getting their explode actions.
Absolutely, and that'll work out well for Rivers, as we do see him finish up that boss fight with relative ease here.
Yeah. And I will note that everyone else is still front loading their looting. You don't just need the items themselves, sometimes you also need extra stuff to sell to kind of get your economy going. We mentioned earlier how there are a lot of Japanese exclusive items that we've added back into free enterprise. And you really want to have the money to afford those the first time you visit a shop. You don't want to have to worry about, oh, okay, what shop did I see this item in? When will I have enough money to come back and buy it? How many times am I going to have to dip this one town? Uh, Front loading their looting means that Chokosura and nightdew won't have to worry about this as much, but it does mean that Rivers is a few steps ahead with his team.
Absolutely, and definitely use the power of tell at your advantage. Use that exit wherever you can, because walking takes time, and we're in a speed run, so you want to go fast.
A couple of members of chat, including our tracker for the night, Demarine, pointing out that sirens are in one of the 2 shops in Troya. Speaking of J items, that's one that we didn't get on this side of the pond. It will call the rarest possible encounter formation in whatever zone you are in. Racers of Free Enterprise use this to great effect for grinding levels. There are a few rare packs that can give you just so much XP in one go and are fairly exploitable that it's really good to see those. You know that your grind is pretty much assured at this point.
We do see Chuckster. It looks as though he is going to get us our first look at our first actual key item with the Antlion boss. The Antlion boss is programmed in the game to have 800 HP, so even with just these 2 characters, he should be able to take him down. But there are also a boatload of chests there. I did see him pick up, I believe it was a crystal item of some sort. He is so fast that it's hard to see, but definitely a lot of loot here that he'll be able to sell to be able to buy those sirens once he hits Troya.
Absolutely, absolutely. heading up to the save room. Sometimes it can be better safe than sorry. I have, seen an unwary racer to run into a boss they weren't expecting and really regret having to go, back to the start of a race. Chocosura making sure that doesn't happen tonight. And yeah, making headway. Poidrac's going to be picking up his Dragoons shortly. And I'm looking forward to actually seeing some progress in the seed. Where do we get to go from here?
Absolutely. And we will see who it is shortly here. And it does appear to be Paintman. So get your Paintman emotes out if you've got them.
Pain Man, our fun little name for Dark Knight Cecil when you fight him. Luckily, this spot not so painful. We do have the NCK part of the flag set. That's no free lunch. We don't get free characters at spots where they would just join your party without you having to do anything. And we don't have a free key item from Edward in the Troya bed. But we do still have quote-unquote free bosses. So Dark Knight Cecil will make his 3 dark waves. He'll get a nice little speech about true justice, and then fades away. Easy peasy.
And for his work, he receives half of Go mode, so very exciting. Get your hype out in chat. You need the Legend Sword and the Adamant and Underground access to go and forge a crystal and basically be able to go to the end of the game. So value in Antlion Cave.
Yeah, fundamentally, you want the crystal so you can transform Zeromus, and you want access to Zeromus. And our first 2 key item checks just gave those both right out the gate. We have our pass, that's our Zeromus access, and we have half that crystal. Whoever rolled this is being extra generous with our racers for now. Let's see if that Legend Sword proves to be a little more hidden and tucked away somewhere rude.
That's the tough part now. You've got in essence, one key item with 16 key items left to obtain. So it could be almost anywhere at this point.
Oh yeah, and of course those key items can indeed gate each other's locations. We may end up seeing someone, gamble on a really long chain or on a long shot and pay off. And for now, though, River's going to be our first racer to head on into Fabul. This is another potential key item location. There is a fight that you have to take care of to get it. Conveniently enough, though, you get a full hill before and after, so he'll probably be able to get through here pretty quickly.
So just for the new people who might have joined, Chocosura picked up recently an AU apple. What does that do? I don't remember that from the original game.
Oh yeah, that's another one that did not make it to our shores. There are gold apples and silver apples in this game. For those of you who were following us a couple weeks ago during the Appleseed Finals, you saw those used a lot. They increase the maximum HP of a character on your team, gold apples by 100, silver apples by 50, and there's an entire flag set devoted to just how exploitable those are to really beat the game in a hurry. But tonight, it's just a tiny little bump for your team, nothing quite so outrageous.
Thank you for the explanations. We do see it is Baigan who is going to attack Fabula Castle. Definitely shouldn't be a problem for Rivers here with Jumpman doing his work and Yang with his claws and Tella just hanging out should be pretty easy for Rivers to get through there.
Yeah, there are definitely far worse spots to find Baigan. Being a 3-part boss, having the center body and each arm, he can dish out a lot of physical damage really quick. Luckily, Fabul Gauntlet's not really a spot where you have to deal with that, so our racers will be very content to see him here. Pretty safe spot as far as he goes. Still a bit of HP to chew through for this team, but between their HP totals, his Tella, or in this case Puexel's Cure 2 spells, Rivers is in fine form here.
Absolutely, and we will shortly see what Rivers is rewarded with for all of his trouble from the King of Fabul. And it is a light sword, so not too much value. I mean, the 3rd best sword in the game.
Yeah, it's a really good weapon for Paladin Cecil. This will incentivize our racers a little bit more to make that Ordeals play, because Cecil is in Dark Knight form until you clear Ordeals. and Tella doesn't know his full spell suite until you clear ordeals. On the flip side, because we removed the crystal from the item pool on V1, there is an extra Excalibur at a key item location. So we could even just see it being sold for money. Before he fought those fights, I saw Rivers eyeballing those Hourglass 3s for sale in the item shop. He might decide he'd rather have the ability to stop a whole bunch of vulnerable mobs rather than actually keeping that weapon around for later.
Now, he's dipping into the item shop here. Can you explain why he might be doing that, Invent?
Well, this is actually the weapon and armor shop, and there's even though this is S2, there's still some pieces of gear you can find that are really handy. That Poison Claw is, as far as stats go, the second best claw for Yang. The only one you can buy that you really want to wear for stat purposes. But not much else paying off in that shop. I do like the Fabul shop, though, because it does give you weapons and armor all in one spot instead of having to talk to multiple merchants. And maybe Rivers was just hoping for something particularly good there, but not finding it tonight.
Gotcha. Thank you. Yes, I meant to say weapon, and my mind just blanked to item shop.
It's all
But
good.
in the item shop in Mysidia, he's probably happy he didn't buy those Hourglass 3s, as he had Hourglass 1s in Mysidia and saves himself 2,000 a pop.
Oh, yeah. And the thing about the Hourglass items, and a lot of the actual Japanese items that you can use in combat, a lot of their spell powers are set to far greater degrees than any of your spellcasters would ever be able to accomplish. Even the stop effect of the lowly Hourglass 1 is better than most of your Black Mage's endgame stop spells, I dare say. So even the tier 1 will freeze enemy mobs for turns and turns and turns. So if you can save 20,000 gold buying those instead of Hourglass 3s, it'll definitely be useful for keeping your economy rolling.
Absolutely. 20,000 to buy Sirens. Sign me up.
River's actually going to take the time to get Edward here. You know, one thing he might have been looking for in the shops was a decent weapon for Edward. He's not the best party member under this flag set. You can find the Spoon. That is one thing that Board Face has added. With the Spoon flag, you can turn that bard into a 255 attack, just monster. But in the meantime, if you don't have that, you really want a dancing dagger, maybe an elven bow and some good arrows, so could have been searching those things out.
Absolutely, and who knows, maybe the Spoon's hiding behind here, but he has decided he sees Ashura. Ashura is mostly a pain in that second spot, so he's decided to go a different way.
Yeah, I am a little surprised that he took the reset there. Of course, this means that he has sacrificed time to that fight that he will not get back. Asura, however, very rude. She will hit very hard with every counterattack there. He can mitigate that with Tella's Blink spell, but without Starvels to turn her Cure Magic onto your party, without a Mage Killer weapon, a Mute Knife or a Rune Axe, you kind of have to very carefully time your attacks to keep her on her Life 1 face. And I'm guessing Rivers thinks, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm not doing that for the sake of getting an Edward. I'll come back later, or I'll find a better weapon to just crush her in a few hits with Cain.
Yep, there's still a couple of options out there. You can definitely do the Ordeals play. He can also make a couple of other different plays as well.
Yeah, I think Rivers here is probably doing item shop checks, probably thinking, one, let's see if we can upgrade our weaponry a little bit. I think his Cain is actually still rocking a Slumber Sword. So that may, or a Wind Sphere even. So that's probably one reason he's checking weapon shops, hoping to just make his Dragoon a little better. And there are, that shop is the loaded one. Cabins, Coffins, which do insta-death to a single target, Starvales, those reflect items we mentioned a moment ago. Rivers is going to definitely be picking up quite a few things in this shop.
Absolutely, selling a bunch of stuff, as you can see there, and buying a bunch of things there. Some coffins, some kamikazes. Tell everyone what the kamikaze does, because we didn't get that.
Yeah, that's another one we didn't get. The kamikaze item will cause your current character to explode, dealing their current HP and damage to the target. You may think that why would I ever want to do that, especially with this team? A piddly 300, 400 damage. Well, hopefully we'll see a boss or two, or even certain circumstances in the game that really let that item shine. It's another one of those things that when Free Enterprise came out, not a lot of people were like, why would I ever buy these? But then slowly but surely, people test around, they stick a toe in the water, and they figure out all these interesting time skips and saves. So fingers crossed we see some good kamikaze strats tonight.
Absolutely. Also, you never know when you want to just kill off one of your characters because there might be a Golbez around the corner.
Yeah, so still no new revelations being given to us by our racers. Still all worried about a little bit of shot percent. I think Rivers, with those Starveils in hand, though, is ready to make a second run at this fight. Of course, you can only self-target with a Starveil, but the convenient thing is, you target your self-reflect, and then you cast Reflect on yourself. Well, you reflect the Reflect, and then it's just a hall of mirrors all the way down.
For sure. I don't again anticipate he's bought some Starveils. We all know what's going to happen here. He's going to reflect himself, and then when he uses that second Starveil, it's going to reflect onto Ashura, and basically he's just going to DPS Ashura down because her cures will just reflect off to your party, which is good for you.
And here he is utilizing a lot of people give Tella a lot of hate, a lot of undeserved, unjust hate. Here he's showing off that even without going up ordeals, that blink spell is going to do a lot of work for his team. Asura will not actually attack. She will only counterattack. And with the blinks up, well, that's 2 free hits each time. Just have to actually get the damage out here. About 4,000 HP, I believe, so about 3 more jumps should do the trick.
It definitely appears he has that well in hand. Well, we see chocosura going up against Odin in, I believe this is at the top of ordeals at the Mylon spot.
Absolutely. So, pretty good place to find Odin. That Zantetsu Ken ability can be pretty rude in places. This spot has ridiculously low physical attack, rather low magic attack. Chocosura should be able to break through this battle before Odin even raises his sword, I would think.
I would think so as well. Tella's also doing work there. 600 damage with the lit one, so definitely good there.
And there we go. Doesn't even raise a sword. Goes down like a sack of potatoes. I tell you though, I'm excited to see Rivers in that fight. When he checked that weapon shop in Troya, he picked up a Thunderclaw for his Yang. So our monk is going to be doing work in that fight once Rivers makes his way up ordeals.
And in the around the world, we will see a fun quirk shortly on Chocosura's side where Yang's kick through a quirk in the programming, as you see there, seems to kick them from behind. So that's definitely one of the hilarious things that we have here in Free Enterprise. I don't anticipate this being extremely tough for Chocosura here.
Oh yeah, and again, we do have that blink spell, so even if the punches were getting a little too much to bear, between Chocosura's HP, his armor, this fight's also not going to be a problem. But we do get to enjoy this mysterious karate fighter literally running around the world just to kick us in the back of the head.
And from the is this even randomized files, riversmccown picking up the Baron key from the vanilla spot.
Nightdew, though, having to reset out, not able to finish that fight. Nightdew at this point really needs to be hoping that the Baron Key leads his competition down the longest of rabbit holes. That'll be a tricky time to make up the difference on.
Yes, an unfortunate setback. It looks as though Rivers is, I believe, just demist hunting at this point.
Yeah, double checking to make sure she's not hidden. We do have the NK flag on, no free key item. Normally, you can just go to Edward in the Troya bed and say, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Here, take this." No, on this flag set, you actually have to hunt down Demas, the monster, wherever it's hiding. Then you can go talk to Rydia's mom. For Golbez taking a shower in all that dark armor in the Kaipo waterway. I am heartbroken that we're not going to see him in a really funny spot to stymie our runners tonight. But enjoy your bath, Golbez. I'm sure you need it.
Absolutely. Rivers is probably not jumping with joy, but he's really happy that Golbez is pretty much off the table. We still have a couple of trolley bosses out there. Wyvern's still out there to cause some havoc for you, chat. So don't worry, we're trying really, really hard here.
And chocosura has found our first way to get underground. The hook is the key item rewarded for climbing ordeals. If your magma key's out there, Nuts, it's hidden behind that Baron key. For one, I'm actually excited about this. You can see really terrifying bosses in the upper Tower of Babel, which the hook leads to, and we can really see some good tech by our racers to try to find ways through that fight. It definitely separates, really top tier racers from, just pretty good racers. So whoever gets through upper upper Babel first, have a huge advantage over the rest of the competition tonight.
Absolutely. It would appear to be that hook beats magma key in this case.
Now, of course, if anyone goes to Baron and finds the magma key, lets them take a huge shortcut ahead of the opposition as well. And then, of course, you get into, well, what if Miss Dragon is one of the fights there? This seed still has a lot of twists and turns available for us to see. So I just wonder if anyone's going to actually make the Baron play or just race underground at this point.
Knowing Rivers, I feel like he might take the hook path. He'll see the hook and he'll be like, okay, game. I really don't want to go to Baron Cast because that cutscene takes forever. And with my party the way it is, if I want to do Baron Key, I also want to do the Odin spot as well. So that would be my play if I was playing this. Does that sound like the right play to you, Invent?
I mean, it's always great if you can take down that Odin spot at the same time. Fantastic, of course, if you do find a magma key and get to bypass the hook. I am curious if anyone will go. Sometimes you'll see a racer, when they get the hook, go ahead and go grab the free character in Evelyn Cave and spy on the boss. And just knowing who that boss is gives you a much better idea of what you need, what you have to do. There's still a few freebies in the pool that are vulnerable to those hourglass items, those coffins, etc., etc. So could be a situation where you see them and you say, this is so much easier than worrying about Baron Castle. Let me knock this out. Other ones you're going to say, oh no, I'm going to Baron.
Absolutely. We'll see how it plays out here. We do have Dark Elf, just to note, at the top of ordeals. Not a terribly rude boss here, so the runners will be happy. Dark Elf can be a pain, especially on the moon.
Oh yeah. Luckily, though, because we do have the free bosses flag enabled, not completely free, just certain ones. Fun fact for those of you who've not played Final Fantasy IV since your childhood, the second form of Dark Elf, when he becomes the dragon, loses the boss bit. You can stop him, you can weak him, you can even Odin him if you have the spell at the right time. So, but of course, on the top of ordeals, only about 1,000 HP to chew through. Nothing to worry about anyway.
Exactly. Just time wasted if you're gonna do that. Which you could if you want. If you're just having fun, that's definitely not a problem.
Yeah. And now Rivers gets to make the big decision before anyone else. Is he going to follow that Baron key and just full clear the overworld, see what he can see before heading underground? Or does he want to just take this party, run with it, and try to get that advantage over his opposition?
I'm not sure. I think I peak the free character at least and peak the boss because I've only got 4 characters in my party. Maybe because of how the CX flag works. Could be Edge, could be Fu. I really like them in my party. So that's the way I would play it. Would you play it the same?
Honestly, you'd have to catch me in the moment, Nitsky. The adrenaline gets pumping so hard, and I just hear my heart in my ears so loudly that I really can't tell you what I would do in the moment. But I'm excited to see what they do.
I definitely am as well. I'm pumped. I really hope that he decides to I hope he decides to go Baron. I truly do.
Chocosura and Poidrac high-fiving Asura here. That's a lot of high fives. That's a lot of arms. But I guess she can high five the entire team at once that way. So, high five, Nitsky.
High five back at you. It's actually quite surprising that our runners have come up to our deal so quickly. Sometimes people avoid this area like the plague. So, not literally, but figuratively speaking.
I mean, yeah, we mentioned this earlier while we were discussing opening strategy with Tella, for those of you who have come in late. There are 3 bosses at Ordeals and only 1 key item. I think if we had seen a starting Magma key, you'd have seen a lot fewer people take the time to make that check. But given that that is where we finally got our underground access, kind of required. And Rivers is foregoing Baron. Let's So, entering Eblin Cave, tons of chests here. There is 1 trapped one containing Stillmen. I'm wondering how much looting he's going to do here, if he's going to full clear it to try to get them for their XP, and the fact they have a high tier item. Yeah, it looks like he's doing the full loot route through the cave.
Definitely not the wrong play. I personally like when the monsters are in the hospital. So maybe that'll happen.
More Starveils in the shop. With the S2 flag, there are safety checks in place to make sure that some items are always available in the overworld if they're even enabled. Life potions and Starveils are 2 of the main ones here. So River's actually finding a second source of Reflect if he needs it. But actually opting for the Ether 2s, I like that, Nitsky. With Tella in the party and no ability to underflow his MP like we do in the vanilla game, those will definitely come in handy if his MP start to run low on these upper Babel bosses.
Absolutely. That's probably Tella's only main weakness, is only getting 90 MP, and no matter how many levels you give him, he sticks at 90 MP. So Rivers may be looking for a Soma drop, maybe help him out in regards to that. Also, thank you so much for the 30 months being scribed in a 10-month streak back to RPG Limit Break. So we appreciate all of that support.
Now that you've mentioned the possibility of a Soma drop, I'm really excited at that possibility. I would love to see this Puexel throw a few Meteos down on the whatever upcoming bosses we have.
Absolutely. So Rivers does find the trap chest here. He is going to use the hourglass there and stop them in their tracks. And basically, it just becomes a DPS, basically mowdown.
Yeah. And the fun fact, he still has an Ogre Axe, I believe, on Kayn, and Stillmen count as giants, so little quadruple damage bonus. Kayn showing off his great early mid-game utility, just with a variety of weapons he can wield. Beautifully done.
Also, we were wondering who might make the Underground Baron play. Or not Underground Baron play, but the Baron Key play. Looks like Poidrac is actually going to go down that rabbit hole for us, so this could be a major turning point for him to come back and see.
Yeah. And nightdew makes it through Baronin on his second try, managed to take down Asura. So yeah, Poidrac, the first one of our 4 featured racers on this stream to make the Baron play. He did miss the starting gun, fell behind by about a minute and a half or so. And if this pays off for him, of these 4, he will be well on his way to victory.
And sadly, it looks like it is the world's freest boss, the King and Queen of Eblin, guarding the top of the tower. That makes me sad.
Oh, but Rivers gonna be very happy he skipped Baron Castle, as long as, of course, the Adamant or possibly the Darkness Crystal aren't there. Great boss to see. Rivers has to feel great about rushing down here. He still has to deal with the boss at the King and Queen Eblin spot, but after that, the actual King and Queen Eblin at Rubicante, completely free for this team. Completely free.
Now, wouldn't it be funny, Inven, if Legend Sword is actually here at Baron Castle?
I mean, that would be very rough for Rivers. I like seeing the early rush underground, and that would just be heartbreaking. But everyone, even if they get it, if they do find the other half of their crystal there, they still have to get underground. They still have to get their team up to Zeromus ready levels. And this this team could still use, for instance, a legitimate white mage. Tella not going to have the HP to be surviving big bangs left and right, so we may see people still seeking out another character even at this point.
I would definitely not disagree. This team could do it, but you really want somebody better.
And Softum in chat, apologies, we did misspeak. We meant the Legend Sword. You do have to have both the halves, both the Adamant and the Legend Sword, to forge the crystal, so it's very easy to just trip over your tongue and say the other one. Apologies, but thank you for clarifying that for chat.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
Ice Water asking about Edward. Well, at this point, our racers don't have much of a choice. They have to have Edward. We've not seen a sixth character quite yet, so he is a part of the team for now. He does have some interesting niche uses in Free Enterprise that you wouldn't see in the vanilla game. He can be a lifesaver against the Evil Wall boss. He can save you a lot of trouble fighting Odin, and of course, Dark Knight Cecil in certain rude places. Of course, we've already seen 2 of those 3. Don't really have to worry about it tonight.
So you wonder to yourself right now, as Poidrac fights Plague, he used that kamikaze. Why did he do that? Invent? Why did he do that?
Plague's... I'm glad you asked. Plague has a pretty simple script. Plague will never directly attack you. Plague will cast fast on you and count on you. Count, of course, when you get down to the 00 and the game can update your status, just kills you directly. But if you have a living character who does not have the count status, Plague will recast it, reset your timers. You're seeing it right now. So Edward's actually showing utility again. He's not going to be your DPS this fight, so he's the prime candidate to take a nap, wake up. Take a nap, wake up, and Poidrac's going to make a pretty easy work of this Plague fight, I think.
I believe so too. I think he's got enough time here to take him down without a problem.
Mikey Lenisha pointing out Rydia's color palette in chat. We do have the Fab flag active, a fairly recent addition of Free Enterprise. Our community workshop, well, I apologize. What is her full title again? Head engineer. One of our 3 engineers. There we go. Scala Kitty. Hand designed all these Fab palettes you see. They're not generated randomly. They're done to make the characters pop out, look good, and just have a little more flavor in the game.
And speaking of flavor, how about a mop? When you need to clean up messes, you always need a mop. I think Poidrac is very happy right now.
Oh yeah, Fusoya, one of the best characters in the game, does eventually learn all white and black magic. Under this flag set, we do have the F flag for Fu Challenge. He, at the very base of the game, will only have 500 HP and a smattering of spells. Every boss you kill, 100 more HP, 3 more spells unlocked. So having done Ordeals, Baron Inn, all these places, Poidrac's Fu is going to be fairly mighty right out the gate.
That will definitely help his team out with some survivability, because we all love Tella, but let's face it, Fu's upgraded Tella.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we do find a rat tail, which, ooh, if this rat tail plus hook becomes a magma key, Poidrac is just going to be head over heels with his decisions.
Absolutely. Sometimes in these randomizers, it's bold plays like this that either take you to the back of the pack or shoot you up to the front. As we do see Rivers up against the Mylon 1 fight in the beginning fight there at the top of Upper Babel.
Yeah, not a very difficult fight. He did throw an Hourglass, which will freeze all the ghasts. They do not have the boss bit, so they're all stopped. Mylon will still do counter lightning ones, but he won't do anything else as long as you leave at least 1 ghast alive. So probably about, I think, 5,500 HP to deal with here, maybe a little less before he does the Oh My Body, and Rivers will be heading out of here very quickly. Poidrac, by the way, that rat tail was an Artemis bow. Not a key item, but a pretty spicy bit of gear. Did he find the arrows to go with it? Will make any character a damage powerhouse.
Absolutely. So giving your Edward definitely some more utility in regards to that. Not progression that we were sort of hoping for, but nevertheless, he does have some decent spells. He has Cure 3 already. He has a white spell. He has Berserk, so definitely some good spells. Quake and Virus. So Fu's going to be doing work for him right now.
Yeah, no nuke yet though. Poidrac. Oh, Poidrac is a little apprehensive of what may lie ahead. He's going to take these two little extra out-of-the-way boss fights. Of course, we know Mist Dragon Spot, just the Kaipo guards, shouldn't take long at all. Poidrac will probably really hoping to get nuke on Fu. Very fast casting, very powerful single target black magic spell. But we know that Upper Babel's kind of free. You can get two more bosses there anyway.
Absolutely, and he will quickly realize when he goes to see the Octo spot, he'll see Golbez there, and I think he will have second thoughts about that.
Yeah, I would not do that one for 3 Fu spells. For those of you who are curious, the reason Nitz and I are a little apprehensive about that fight is Golbez will kind of follow his script from when you fight him in Dwarf Castle in the original game. He will paralyze your... You can't hit him. You can't hurt him at all. You have to wait your turn. He will paralyze your team, summon his Shadow Dragon. It will make up to 3 attempts to devour your party. It can whiff if you have instant death defense, and it'll stop if you're down to 2 visible characters. So, long time waster, basically more of a cutscene fight than an actual fight, especially with this team at this point. But Poidrac did not save after the first one, so he has to redo the Kaipo guards right quick.
Nice. Nightdew is about to find out who's there, and let's see what he decides to do. Smartly decides, no, not today.
And Rivers, of our 4 featured racers on this channel, is the first one through to the underground, making fairly easy work. Any hook seed where I'm underground within 40 minutes, I feel pretty good about. I'm sure Rivers feels the same. Didn't have too many hiccups, had that one reset back in the first time he encountered Asura, wanted to find those Star Veils first, perfectly understandable. We do see Octomammoth, by the way. That will not be too rough at the top of this tower, so no tower key, though. Would you go ahead and would you consider making the gamble to run up Tower of Babel now, Nitsky, or would you hold off till you find that tower key?
I always try and hold off till I find the tower key. It's just because it's so long. You only want to do it once. You never want to double dip Lower Babel, but sometimes it happens. I was just about to ask you, if you're Rivers, where's your next move now that you're underground?
I mean, there's some pretty logical checks. You can get a completely free item by checking the vanilla rat tail chest in Feymarch. You can also talk to Yang in his Sylph Cave bed, and go talk to his wife Sheila for a key item check as well. Sometimes you like to leave these spots till, when will my team be able to take down the Feymarch bosses as well as get that item? When will I have the pan so I don't have to run all the way through Sylph Cave twice? Of course, shopping, also a great option. We do find Cure 3s for sale, which can... We mentioned earlier how you may want to find a real white mage to support this team. If you have Cure 3s, you can kind of just chemist your way to victory, to use Final Fantasy Tactics parlance.
Absolutely, and Rivers dipping into the slightly looted Tomra treasury there, and I did not get a chance to see what our temporary worker did today there.
Oh, I saw. I'm so glad Rivers spoke to... That's my favorite one. Temp Job Dwarf is another... little fun, Easter egg in the randomizer. His job changes every time you play the game, and he's a commercial fisherman, which I don't know what kind of fish you have swimming in liquid hot magma, but I'm sure that they're delicious.
Yum, yum. So we do see it looks as though Rivers is going to go for that free chest. Also, there are 2 bosses down here that he will definitely give a peek to, because there could be a free boss there as well.
Yeah, at this point, I think the main freebie we can see... I don't think we've seen the Baron guards yet, which maybe you can actually get an hourglass off before they wipe your team. And I don't think we've seen the Dark Imps yet, but the 3 of them all getting turns at some of these spots... You could be in for a rude awakening. It's like, oh, it's just them. They're free. And then they stab you, and you cry.
Have we seen the two guards, the first fight at Baron Inn yet? I can't
Oh, no,
remember.
those are the Baron guards, yeah. So they might be doable since we do have a full team. I do like this defense sword, by the way. It's not a key item, but it is Kane's third best, well, if you're not counting Avenger, third best weapon in the game. Pretty sizable vitality boost and a very nice damage boost.
It definitely beats an ogre axe. I will agree with you there.
Ooh, and this is a lovely little bed and breakfast that comes with complimentary Bacchus wine. Always good to spend a good weekend at the Feymarch. And peeking these bosses, who do we got? Well, speaking of freebies, there you go. It looks like Bahamut has been demoted. Instead of being the father of the Eidolons, he's just taken up the job as king here with his CPU queen. Rivers, of course, does have a stack of Star Veils from when he was up in Troya earlier. He bought them actually to beat Asura, so it's kind of appropriate he's using them here as well.
Yes, in this spot, Bahamut has pretty much one script, and that's wait 5 seconds, cast Mega Nuke, and then try and burn up your party. But these Star Veils, as you're about to see, are going to reflect that back to Bahamut, and he'll just rinse repeat that a couple of more times, and it'll be over.
Yeah. Well, there is one thing Rivers may have to worry about here, and that's that this bot does have about 35,000 HP, if I remember correctly. So it'll take a total of 4 reflected Mega Nukes if he doesn't decide to dish out a little personal damage. There are some ATB, active time battle shenanigans, that you can do to make your reflect spells, especially your Star Veils, last indefinitely. What Rivers is doing here is double checking periodically to see if they have worn off, and indeed they did. So 2 of his have worn off. He's recasting a quick wall just to make sure that he keeps everything going here and makes it through the fight.
Yes, definitely important to do that, because this is a bit of a time waster, and thankfully the other 2 had worn off, that he did do that with Tella, and should be through.
Yeah, so up to 19,998 damage. Couple more rounds, and Rivers will be through. This is actually a really great example of that willingness to peek a boss. No, wait, my team is weak. This is a very difficult boss spot, but I know the script. I paid attention. I bought the required tools to take it down, and that's what he's doing here.
Yeah, because as a kid, I would have looked at Bahamut and I would have run in the other direction. Having known how his script works, he gets a pan for his trouble.
Pays off, pays huge dividends. This is a fantastic. I always love to see the pan in Feymarch before I go to Sylph Cave. You get to go through Sylph Cave once. Yang is through multiple screen transitions, 3 floors down in the Sylph cabin. If you have to come there twice, that is a minute or 2 that you're giving to your opponents just in flight time and running through the cave. So Rivers has to be very excited about this. It doesn't necessarily pay off, but this does give him 3 key items just for looping through here and heading back to Fabul.
So, Chet, hopefully you're hoping for something for good if you want Rivers to do well. If not, you're hoping for something like a Shadow Shield, maybe a Life Staff, and let's say an Hourglass 3 just for fun.
Yeah, I don't want to play favorites, so I won't until I see if our other 3 racers also talk to Temp Job Dwarf. I'm on team Temp Job Dwarf. That's the side I'm taking.
Von Yvonne, thank you so much for the resub for 10 months. Appreciate the support. And it looks as though the Sylph Cave did give us a pro ring, so that's 1 check down. Unfortunately, not a key item.
Yeah, not a key item, but we are getting pretty good equipment for eventually when we tackle perhaps moon bosses. Actually, the Zeromus fight. Protect Ring and Crystal Ring are the 2 best magic defense rings in the game. And of course, it gives basic elemental resistance, fire, ice, lightning. So very handy for any of our characters who can't equip, say, Dragoon armor and get it that way.
Oh yeah, definitely not a bad pickup, but probably not what Rivers was specifically looking for.
Oh no, I mean Rivers knows what he's doing. If he were to have that Legend Sword, he would be ready to go to the Zeromus fight. He would just need to do a little bit of grinding, and he'd handle this, even without a proper White Mage.
Sheila giving the magma key and a dragoon
Oh,
spear.
well, on the bright side, we can now upgrade Kane from his third best weapon to his second best weapon for the Zeromus fight. But oh, not what you want to see there. Rivers is choosing to walk out here rather than reset. The Magma Key, although it doesn't give us any additional access, is still a key item. We do have the XSBK combo of flags on. It's basically a quality of life improvement. Your XP are not split amongst all living party members. You get double XP once you hit 10 key items, and anyone who's lagging behind other characters in the party by a significant margin also gets bonus XP. So Magma Key does have use for Rivers, even if it's not what he wanted to see.
And even with that minute head start to everyone else, Poidrac is going to make Underground sub 48 minutes. So definitely good on him for catching up to everybody else there.
And notably has a Fusoya with Nuke. Nightdew will, of course, be in that same boat. Powerful Lunarian on both their teams, which means that these underground bosses, Poidrac and Nightdew may be able to clear out a bit faster than Rivers and Chocosura can.
Can you explain to chat what this egg is on Chocosura's side and why he's hitting it with a coffin?
He's doing his best Gaston impression. You know, every day he eats 5 dozen eggs, so he can be really strong at free enterprise. No, seriously though. We mentioned those sirens earlier for sale in Troya. The rare monster pack in this little area of the underground is yellow dragon eggs. They're in egg form, so they won't do anything until you actually whack them with a direct attack. They're vulnerable to coffins for insta-kill, they're vulnerable to hourglasses to be stopped, and they give 34,000 XP a pop. Fantastic grind spot to build up a few extra levels before tackling these other underground fights. And it looks like Rivers has discovered that Dwarf Castle is actually Mylon's secret castle, Mylon Z being the first boss here in the Calbrina spot. Mylon Z has a very simple attack script and is weak to fire, holy, curative magic. Probably one of the bosses that, although a little rude in the vanilla game, very, very easy to deal with most of the time in free enterprise.
And behind him is Dr. Luge, which should be pretty free at this spot. And your character coming up is Porum, which, goodbye, Porum, you're at the side of the road there.
You know, I mean, we mentioned that, you know, some racers may want a white mage. Rivers is not taking that white mage. His Rydia, or Scala in this case, does know the Asura summon. So honestly, yeah, that healing probably just as fine as trying to get Porum to be really useful. Of course, if he ends up taking a wipe at Zeromus because of not having her, he may regret that decision.
He potentially may, but Rivers, being a seasoned pro, knows what he's doing. It's really sad to see Porum left on the side of the road, but it does happen sometimes.
Yeah. The funny thing, though, is that he does still have that Eddie in the party. So did not get the rat tail, so does not have, for instance, that Artemis bow that Poidrac and Knight do have. Maybe he's hoping to find a spoon to give Eddie, you know, his supreme ultimate power. But just to see that level of disdain for Porum just brings a warm bit of sympathy to my heart.
But Invenerable, there is good news. We do have a new flag that was introduced in version 0.3 called the Rescue Flag. I'll just quickly explain. When you dismiss a character from the party, it goes to the Tower of Wishes in Mysidia. So believe it or not, if Rivers wanted to later on, he could go pick up Porum and continue on and maybe throw Eddie to the side of the road. So maybe Porum comes back.
That's true. It could end up in a situation where you have to do what you have to do. And I know Rivers is, you know, He's
Or
on Team Rosa like I am.
exactly. Or you always need that agility anchor. And Porum's pretty slow to start, so you never know. But we do see Sand Ruby, so I believe that River's next move will probably be to go to pick up Rosa.
Oh yeah, there we go. So anyone here who actually does take Porum will probably see that Sand Ruby and go, okay, let's upgrade.
Exactly. We do see Poidrac and chocosura just trying to get through this fight here. It looks as though they should be okay there. River's doing a little bit of looting, and we see nightdew is going to be in the same boat with the Sand Ruby momentarily.
Yeah,
So,
River's giving
so
us
we're
Ice Trainer vision with that poison status walking around. Rivers, heal your team, dude.
yeah, please. It's painful to watch sometimes. The sound is definitely something.
But you were saying this guy. I was so distracted by my eyeballs burning that I had to point it out.
Oh yeah, no. So basically, at this point, what do you do next, Inven? Do you do what Rivers is doing and make the lower Babel play?
Well, so even though we know Rose is in the Sand Ruby spot, I don't think Rivers ever actually peeked it. So he doesn't know that, his bay is waiting for him there. And at this point, he doesn't have a lot of options. It's either go chase that Baron key, which he purposely ignored to rush underground. If at this point you go back on that deal, you're basically saying, I've given other people an advantage over me. He's choosing to double down, which, if you want first place, is a great thing to do. 12 racers in this match. You can't just do every spot faster than everyone else. You have to pick your battles, and this is the gamble that Rivers is willing to make to see if it plays off.
Well, and knowing what we know, it should pay off in some sort of progression.
Well, I mean, we do still have CPU at the Asura spot, and we do still have whatever boss is down at the Odin spot below Baron Castle. So this could just be more Bubkus. We'll have to wait and see.
You're right. I totally forget about those sometimes. I do like the play though. Even Octomam in this spot should be pretty easy to just bolt down and take care of business.
Yeah, Octomem, of course, the first 3 hits you deal, it'll lose a tentacle. After that, each 2 hits will lose another tentacle till it's down to 1. And with each tentacle it slows down, slows down, slows down. So although it may get a few punches in here for decent damage, it's not going to stand up to this team. Especially because I think his Yang there is still rocking a Thunderclaw.
Yeah, his Yang's definitely been doing a lot of work here. As we see nightdew rush, go to pick up his Rosa Bay, you will be very happy in that.
Hey, best white mage in the game. If nightdew has that Artemis bow, he can just as equally convert her into an archer goddess to rain death upon enemies with arrows. Very great multi-use character. Although she is going through her goth phase, apparently.
Apparently. And as you can see, Porum left again at the side of the road here, but at least you're in Kaipo this time.
I just realized that we have both Goth Rosa and Goth Iridia tonight.
I just noticed that. That's
and Goth Tella, which, you wouldn't think you'd still be in your goth phase at his age, but, you do you, Tella.
Exactly. Nobody's judging you. So funny. No Cecil sighting, no Edge sighting.
I mean, we got your favorite boy, Kane. We have Penguinator's favorite boy, Yang. We have my favorite boy, Tella. Ooh, Darkness Crystal here. That is spicy. That, of course, opens the way to the moon, where there are plenty of more key item spots you could potentially check. There is Cave Bahamut, which will have a boss you can actually see the shape of before fighting. And then there's Pale Dim Spot, 2 at Lunar Dragons, Plague, Ogopogo, Wyvern. It's a smorgasbord of boss checks. Will Rivers try to full clear Earth first, or gonna go to the moon?
So, commentator's curse, is he going to go to the Inven spot of dreams, the D-lunar spot, and that's where the legend sword may be?
I mean, it's a great place to go to, but when everything's this wide open, it's hard to make the decision at this point. And we do still have two places on Earth that you and I haven't seen. And I think Rivers is not going to do either one. CPU fight is just irritating, and I think he has to say, I didn't do Baron, I'm sticking with my no Baron play. Is going to peak the Sand Ruby, though. He'll be very happy to see his waifu here.
I was curious. I wondered if he was going to go peak Sand Ruby or if he was just going to take us off on a wild and wacky adventure.
Well, if he does go to the moon after this, at least we'll get to spot the character there. I believe he still has a lightsaber or a light sword ready for Paladin Cecil if he's up there. I wouldn't mind seeing a Palom to replace Iridia with. As great as she is, we've not seen any of her truly top-tier damaging summons, and it takes forever to get her Quake and Nuke. Contrast that with Palom, who learns Quake at level 23.
Exactly. And leaving Edward behind. So hopefully he doesn't run into the spoon and potentially regret that decision.
Yeah. It looks like nightdew is having a little bit of connection issues. All our racers are recording locally as well. If any of them have internet difficulties, of course, their times will be verifiable. Everyone racing on SRL should be, cognizant of that. And so even if we're not sure where nightdew is currently, he is still in the race. He's not, given up or anything of that sort.
I'm sure our top tier restreamer Smapity is on that, and we'll get that fixed as soon as nightdew comes back online.
Yeah. Well, it just looks like he's losing a few frames here and there, but that's fine. As long as he doesn't go clear out the CPU spot, I'm fine. It will drive me batty if he does clear CPU and we have no idea what he finds.
No, exactly. That's I don't think he is though. It looks as though he's going to Feymarch here. So we'll see.
And in the meantime, while we are getting a little bit of crisscross info from our racers, and Rivers is giving us the cutscene to fly to the moon, reminder, give all 4 of these racers a follow. If you do have the time, check out the other 2 streams. We have 8 more racers who've done amazing work making it to this final table. They're all great at racing this game, great runners of this game. Wonderful insights you can gain by watching them if you want to be competitive in free enterprise as well. Don't forget these 4. They're doing a great job this evening.
Question in chat: how powerful is it when it's equipped as a weapon? It is 255 attack. It is the best weapon in the game.
Even stronger than the Crystal Sword, Ragnarok, whatever you want to call it. Fun fact, though, originally when that flag was implemented, the developer Boardface had not yet fixed an issue with overflowing your attack power. So if you equip the spoon on Eddie, it would take him above and beyond 255 and back down to like the 30s or 40s. Fix that, though. It is actually a legitimate weapon to use on any flag set with the dash spoon part enabled.
And you can definitely check that out for yourself at ff4fe.com and try your own flag set. There's tons of different ways you can play this game. You can run the seeds that our current racers are running. So, and we see an Edge.
Edge is a great character, but, and I'm not just saying that because Rivers names his after me, but at this point, I wonder if he is opting to take the Edge. I'm trying to think of what weapons Rivers has found for him. I think I've seen a Full Moon, which is great for back row glitching, of course. And I think I've seen a Ninja Blade, which, it's no Murasame. Well, sometimes it's better than a Murasame. It's no Masamune, but very great weaponry for Edge. So he'll actually have his Ninja online pretty quickly.
I know that one of our runners picked up a Murasame somewhere. I don't know if Rivers had.
Gotcha. Oh, and we did mention in passing there the back row glitch. This is a vanilla Final Fantasy IV glitch, where if you equip a character with a weapon that gives them the back row bit, in that they do full damage from the back row all the way to monsters in the back row, it doesn't get unset if you change your weaponry again. So it's something that a lot of these top tier runners will keep in mind, even if it's a lesser weapon they don't intend to fight with. They'll keep it in their inventory just so they can do that little trick to their character. Can make certain fights Magus Sisters, CPU, things like that, where monsters are in the back row, much easier than they'd otherwise be.
Absolutely. It looks as though Rivers is going to make he's going to make the play where the most chests are, it looks like, and he's going to go to that D-Lunar spot, I feel.
Yeah, there is a save point right next to two boss fights here. There's the spot where in the vanilla game you fight Plague. There's the spot where you fight the Lunar Dragons. Although, actually, oh, this is cute. Rivers did, of course, get a Dragoon Spear from Sheila's second item earlier, turning in the pan. Dragoon Spear has a quadruple damage bonus versus dragons, including these King Ryus. A siren used in certain places of the lunar subterranean will summon two of these things. They'll give you 60,000 base experience. If you life glitch one, like so, you'll get 90,000 here. Great source of XP, especially if you have those hourglass items to freeze them in place.
Absolutely. So it looks as though our girl Rose is going to slingshot just a little bit here.
Oh yeah, if you are if you are 5 levels behind the party median, you get doubled XP. If you are 10 levels behind the party median, you get triple XP. If Rivers had 10 key items, that would also be doubled. You can see some ridiculous slingshots getting ×6 XP, but now his Rosa is in fighting shape, gonna keep on pushing down here to the bottom.
Definitely a smart play. He almost got to 38, and that's where Rosa Bay learns Cure 4, so next battle will definitely get her Cure 4, which will definitely put her in position to where Rivers will be very happy.
Oh yeah, I mean, Cure 3 is nothing to scoff at. I mean, still going to be very useful in these upcoming fights. Rivers, though, showing us the true final boss of Free Enterprise, that being inventory management. He needs to make a little space so that these key items he finds in a moment he can actually use. Oh, he actually has the full-on Masamune even. Wonderfully equipped. Did not save... Well, I'm not sure if he has a full moon or not, but Edge's in the front row anyway. Shouldn't make a difference in this case.
No, exactly. Maybe there's a free boss there for him. Someone he can take down quite easily.
Yeah. And for those in the chat or viewers at home who may be wondering, why are you focused so much on this Rivers guy? It is because he made an early gamble that our other racers did not. He decided not to do Baron Castle using that Baron key, which means his opponents all have a Fusoya, a very powerful Fusoya, but he's the one actually forging new ground and seeing what bosses are here in new places. So that's why we're a little zoned in on his screen. Chocosura is going to give us another peek, though. We've not seen this Odin spot yet, and this could be it. I'm holding my breath, Nitsukai.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I'm hoping that perhaps this will provide us some value here. It is Kinatsu. Ooh, this could be rough.
Kinatsu, I think our racers will be able to handle this. Kinatsu is a very scary boss in a lot of locations. Anywhere he's fast, he's going to punch you really hard, pull up a water wall, and start using waves that do 1/20th of his current HP. Which means there's some spots in the game where if you're at a 60,000 HP spot, you're taking 3,000 HP worth of damage. I think Fu, though, makes this more than doable. Oh yeah, already cut the power of those waves substantially. I don't think Chocosura is going to have too much difficulty here. And we'll be seeing a key item check, maybe before Rivers gets done with the Magus Sisters.
Absolutely, that nuke getting off before the wave was actually quite huge there. It took him down by a third at least.
Yeah, this spot does have 23,000 HP or so, Those waves are already down to probably around 400 damage. Yeah, there we go.
And nightdew not very far behind there, also at the same spot.
So what this is really, if this is the spot, Rivers is in trouble. He has completely skipped Baron Castle for the sake of this gamble. He's on the moon first, though, of these 4 racers, which could pay off very well for him as well. But if the Legend Sword is here, both chocosura and nightdew will be in go mode.
And then you'll see the magic happen.
Well, I think they may still need a few levels, but that having Fu, having Rosa, having Yang and Kane with good weapons definitely improves their situations today.
Yeah, and we know where sirens are, so grinding up will definitely not take that long, as we do see Poidrac getting to the Lunar Whale cutscene, and everything will be on his way to the moon as well.
Yeah. And it's always interesting to see these gambles get punished, because it may seem that, oh, I'm going to head up Tower of Babel. I find the Darkness Crystal, and I didn't even have to have the Tower Key to come here. You have to feel really good. And, ooh, rude.
My boy Kane likes it. And chocosura and nightdew, you can feel their hearts just sink.
It's really funny that we've gone from Kane's 3rd best weapon to his 2nd best weapon to his 1st best weapon. Of course, some enemies do resist the Holy Spear's holy damage, and notably it doesn't give you a quadruple damage versus dragons, so still though, definitely an upgrade for the Zeromus fight eventually.
Where's my 2nd Kane?
That is true. There is a duplicate character out there in the seed. There are only 12 characters in the game, but there are 13 character spots. Duplicates are enabled, so if we find a 2nd Kane, ooh, that is a powerhouse duo right there.
Yeah, I think at this point the odds of finding a 2nd Kane are quite remote, because nobody has time for the giant.
And nightdew here, going to be making the play that will earn him his Darkness Crystal. chocosura going to go attempt CPU at the Asura spot. With a Kane with a White Sphere, I'm not as worried about it as I would be otherwise. Having, of course, a full-powered Fu does work as well. It's more an annoying fight than a dangerous fight, but it's our last option on Earth, so let's see if it pays off.
Absolutely, we'll see what chocosura is up to here. Maybe there is value behind CPU. Who knows?
More so, you are looking at Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. This is an open world randomizer that modifies Final Fantasy IV, classic from Super Nintendo childhood that many of us loved. And you're seeing 4 of the best racers of this game duking it out, along with 8 others off-screen for the sake of winning this final table. If you're wondering a little bit more about FF4 Free Enterprise, there is a link to the website there. And the World Series is roughly a 2-month tournament with a wide variety of different flag sets in play. And we're trying to see, who is the best kind of at all varieties of Free Enterprise. We have another tournament that we do each year that's more focused on a narrower flag set, very similar to the one we're actually on tonight. The World Series is a really great opportunity to showcase just how much variety you have in this game.
And as we talk about that, we do see chocosura. He is going to take on CPU here, and we will definitely see how this goes. How do you think this CPU fight is going to work out in that?
Well, I mean, we do have Kane with a very great spear. Probably going to see a lot of jumping here. There's some spots where if you had a heavier Black Mage party, if you had, say, Hallam with Quake, Rydia with also Quake, just if you have everyone wanting to do Quake, you can do a few other little bits of tech here, but I don't think he's going to feel compelled to do that. It's going to be pretty, run-of-the-mill. Kill the defender, kill the CPU, kill the attacker, profit.
Here's to hoping. As we do see riversmccown up against the Calbrina spot. There's a fun quirk with the Japanese items. You can use the hourglasses. They will stop the cow in the back, but not the Brainos in the front, which means you can definitely avoid, as some people call her, Big Doll, or Calbrina herself. As you can see, that goes down quite easily, and we will definitely see what Rivers will pick up. And he picks up the tower key.
Oh, is there going to be a forced double dip required this seed? Ooh.
That would be spicy.
By the way, a couple of subs we want to recognize in chat. Morso de Viage, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome to the RPG Limit Break family. And Grimora, 45 months of RPG Limit Break support, currently on a 43-month streak. Thanks to both of you.
My name's Gamora, and I'm on a 43-month streak.
Exenteth asking a very important question. Has Mist Dragon been found yet, and does it matter? Mist Dragon has not been found yet, at least not on our stream, and it does matter. There is a key item that you can only get, or a key item check, I should say. You hunt down Mist Dragon, defeat her, and go talk to Rydia's mom lying on the ground in Mist, and you get a key item there. Normally, that key item would be located at Edward and hit the bed in Troya. Not under this flag set. That NK means no free key item. You do have to hunt down Mist Dragon to get it.
Deborine, our pro tracker in chat, saying that Pale Dim has navigated south for the winter into the Lake Okanagan Ogopogo spot here. Should definitely not be a problem for Rivers to take down Pale Dim in this spot. Equip that Dragoon Spear, and go to town.
Oh yeah, gonna be seeing probably some quad 9s here, I would think. Having the quadruple damage bonus plus the jump. Oh, so close. I was rooting for your boy, Kane.
I am a little disappointed. He is not doing his job with the quad 9.
And a little news for everyone in chat. We do have our first place finisher, Dusty Griff. I am, color me not surprised one bit, has finished in first place overall with a 1 hour, 12 minute, 38 seconds. He found that legend sword somewhere. GG's to Dusty Griff. That puts him at currently 35 out of a maximum possible 36 points in the World Series of Free Enterprise. If anyone wants to catch up to Dusty, they have their work cut out for them over these next 4 weeks. Oh my goodness. GG's Dusty Griff.
Absolutely. GG, Dusty. King of the Mountain, definitely proving that it is tough to scale the mountain. It is also even more difficult to stay on top. So shout outs to him in regards to that.
Now, with how fast he's done, does Chocosura get a legend sword here? He does.
Yes.
There we go. Playing the metagame. Playing the metagame. I think that a lot of our racers, upon seeing that dot done, are probably going to scramble back to Earth. Dusty is a very great racer of this game, but he doesn't make the wildest gambles. He just clears everything with ruthless efficiency. And so you have to think, did he actually, make the single dip into Tower of Babel and get that Darkness Crystal? Or did he get his Legend Sword somewhere else? And Rivers and nightdew, are they going to keep going on the moon, or are they going to see that dot done and metagame themselves back to Earth?
I don't know what I'd do. I think I might just stay the course, and it looks as though Rivers is going to stay the course.
Our restreamer Smapedy in chat worrying for Chocosura. Running into Troya, Chocosura is just outside of go mode. He does still have to forge his crystal before he can take that pass to the moon. But right now he wants those sirens. He wants to have a few more eggs for breakfast before he goes and shows us who the Zeromus fight will be tonight.
Everybody loves the Grand Slam breakfast, don't they? So yeah, he's going to go in and just do some wizardry here with Coco, who's taking a nap. And instead of getting Excalibur like you would in the vanilla game, he's going to jump for joy, and Chocosura will go down the stairs, and Coco will say it's done, and he will have a crystal. There's also this important shop here, which does have some arty arrows, which, yee.
Artemis arrows are the best arrow in the game. They do have a quadruple damage bonus versus dragons, and they also just have ridiculous damage. And paired with that Artemis bow we found, any character who equip bows and arrows will be dishing out 2,000 and 3,000 damage per shot at the Zeromus fight. Surprised we didn't see a few picked up there.
I am surprised as well. The only characters I believe in his party who cannot equip bows are Yang and Kane. I believe everyone else can equip.
Well, Tella can't either.
Well, I mean, Tella's going to be your agility anchor, so I wasn't too worried about him.
Well, he won't be if chocosura gains too many levels on him. Might want to knock your sage down there.
No, I would agree 100%.
Twatfu in the chat, who's in the lead? I have no idea what I'm seeing. Well, we're glad to clear things up for you while chocosura does his grind here. You are watching Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, an open world randomizer for Final Fantasy IV. And our racers under this flag set are zooming around the world, the underground, the moon, looking for certain key items, specifically the adamant ore and the legend sword, so they can forge their crystal, which is required to fight Zeromus. At this point, Rivers, Poidrac, and nightdew have gone a little off track. We know where it is at this point. And chocosura is, of these four, well in the lead, going to be grinding a few more levels on his team here, and then taking the fight to the final boss.
Absolutely. What sort of strats do you expect to see from chocosura in the final fight here, given his current party?
Well, Rydia will, if he's willing to grind Rydia to learn Nuke, hybrid strats, I honestly think what we're going to see is pretty rudimentary Zerker strats, berserking Yang and Kane, and then letting Fu just hang back, heal everyone up, make sure the team doesn't wipe.
Thank you for the answer. Question in chat from Quiddy Whips. Why not play these other versions? There are about 4 or 5 different remakes of this game available. Just because of the way that the game works, the Super Nintendo can randomize this game the best of anything. So why not?
Oh yeah, I mean, and there are other versions out there that are great to play. I know that I owned probably about 6 different versions of this in various incarnations throughout my life. But the great thing about the randomizing for this version is that everything just falls into place so well. It almost feels like Final Fantasy IV was made for this in a way that other Final Fantasies weren't, just because of even how the vanilla game has that key item menu. Those key items in turn gate location after location and can send you down chains. It was really just kind of a great fit in the verve of several other randomizers out there as well, where you can have this clear gating rather than it still being a mostly vanilla playthrough.
Yep. The emulators that some of our runners may be using, some might be using OG hardware, definitely don't require the most powerful computer to run. So it's a really low barrier to entry. And that's what we want out of the community. We want more people to join the Discord, join the races, or just casual it through. However you want to play it. Free Enterprise is like an all-you-can-eat buffet. You can play it really easy. You can play it really difficult. It's all up to you.
Yeah. Rivers making excellent speed through the moon, though, clearing all these bosses with excellent speed, but not fast enough to get that second place. Aizen Toyama has wrapped up with a time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 56 seconds. GG, Aizen Toyama, very well done. Another racer who apparently did not hear the siren call of the moon and instead cleared out the rest of the blue planet.
And for finishing second, he will get 11 World Series points. So trying to go up against Dusty there, it's going to be a tough battle, but he'll definitely vault his way up in the standings.
Mikey Lanisha, the Legend Sword was behind the CPU fight at the Asura spot. So while a lot of our racers, I believe all 4 of our racers, saw that Bahamut fight and thought, oh, this is easy, I have Star Veils, very few racers saw that CPU fight and thought, it's annoying, but I can do it. And Dusty Griff and Azentoyama are our first two to be rewarded accordingly.
And we do have our first Derek Miss sighting on Poidrac's side there.
Rivers fought it a moment ago.
Oh, did he? Rivers has been going so fast, I keep missing what he's fighting.
Yeah, it does help that this is the Wyvern spot, I believe, that Poidrac's fighting it at. So, rather low HP compared to some other spots on the moon. For instance, the Ogopogo and the Lunar Dragon spot. So, pretty quick kill here, especially when we have, Nuke and the Virus and really strong weapons.
Thank you for helping me out with that, Inven.
Hey, it's no trouble. The Rivers not going to check Cave Bahamut, it looks like, choosing to go ahead and head back to Earth. Meanwhile, chocosura is heading into his Aromas fight, which means there's a fairly important question that I want to know the answer to, Nitsky.
And that would be, whose butt are we kicking tonight?
If you look at that flag string there in the middle of the overlay, that little dash Z at the very end, that is the Zeroma's flag. So rather than fighting the exact same form time and time again, our engineers Boardface and Scalakitty have given us a plethora of new faces to deal with. I think we're up to just shy of 400. Scala's restreaming, or I know she would correct me. It's definitely in the... There's... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I know there's at least one for every day of the year.
I was about to say, I'm like, I know it's at least 366, because she loves you, and like, there's at least one every day you could have a fresh Sprite.
Absolutely. I'm hoping for something fun I haven't seen before. Well, who are you hoping for?
Oh, the funny thing is I saw a really great Sprite the other day, and I actually DM'd Scala and said, oh my gosh, I love this so much. And she was like, you're the one who submitted that a year ago, right? And it blew my mind. Like, I think I'm getting old, Nits. I'm forgetting things I shouldn't be forgetting.
That's okay. It happens to all of us. I'm sure I've submitted some requests that are in there, and I don't even remember submitting.
Rolfizz, I'll go ahead and let you know. He's in there. Hey, it's Gato, Luca's little karaoke/challenge robot from the Millennial Fair in Chrono Trigger. Let's beat this bucket of bolts and get our 15 silver points. What do you think?
Let's do it to it. So we're going to see Tele do his one job and Zergang, and then probably take a quick nap. Just for the record, while the sprite is different, Zeromus's script has remained completely unchanged from the vanilla version, just so that everybody is aware of that.
Absolutely. Although all the other boss spots in the game are randomized, this is one challenge that is left the way it is. No differences to this fight. Just, it lets our racers know what they need to prepare for, how much of a risk they want to take, and be ready for it. It is good to see that Rivers, by the way, has made the correct play upon returning to Earth. Still not going for that Baron key, but is going to get his Legend Sword.
And while we've been waiting, Error has finished in third place with an official SRL time of 1 hour and 23 minutes and 52 seconds. So GG to Error on that third place finish. So it looks as though chocosura definitely in the race for fourth.
Absolutely. So we should be seeing more people come in now. Metagaming is always an issue in communities like this. And anyone who saw that done, I'm sure thinks, oh no, I am not going to the moon. And we have very few remaining spots on Earth to check. So let's see how they do the cleanup.
Absolutely. It's a tough one because, Legend Sword was right there, and I'm sure everybody except maybe for Dusty all went by it. So that's just the way randomizers can be sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you see the Bahamut spot there, and you think, oh, easy peasy, I got this. And, the pan makes everyone think, oh, why would I sit here and ride the struggle bus against the CPU fight when I can go get my Sylph item, Sheila 1, and Sheila 2? So it's a very reasonable decision to make. But again, anyone who decided to stick around, I'm guessing Dusty did just that, very well rewarded for fighting that fight.
Absolutely, and we do see Rivers pick up his Legend Sword. He is almost in go mode. He has to now go forge a crystal and then take a short trip to Troya and basically kick some Gato butt. It looks as though on chocosura's side there was an issue though, and he got wiped.
Kind of mistimed a little bit of that Zeromus fight, and it is very unforgiving. That's one of the reasons why you're not going to run into Zeromus randomly at another boss spot. It's a reason why the script is not going to be, randomized or changed. It's a rude fight. It's a cruel fight. And although you could say, oh, it's just an HP check, knowing how to handle the flow of that fight and to get in there and to do it quickly and effectively and safely is a really high level skill that separates the top runners of this game from the pretty good runners.
Absolutely, especially Free Enterprise has taught us a lot about something called relative agility, which we never really cared about in the speed run, the vanilla speed run. Um, and it's really taught us that this fight can be extremely mean, even with what I would consider to be a decent party on chocosura's side.
Absolutely. Yeah, and by the way, Chocosura is a top-tier runner of this game, but when you are racing against 11 other top-tier runners and you want to finish as high as you possibly can, you're going to take a few risks, and if the timing's off just a little bit, it will punish you.
Yeah, that's the thing with Zeromus. Even though you can read the script and know the script inside out, executing at this high of a level is definitely not easy and definitely not for the faint of heart. Even though you look and go, Yang 3600 AP, Kane's got 2500, my Fu's got 2K. I should be, those three should at least be good to go, and sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yep. We do have a fourth place finisher, by the way. Supremacy has come in fourth with a 1 hour, 26 minute, 55 second finish time. GG to Supremacy. Well done, sir.
Yeah, GG's for Supremacy. Definitely, again, these are the top tier flags, the main event from a poker standpoint, if you will. So to finish fourth amongst all of these great runners is definitely no small feat. So GG to him. As Rivers is now officially in go mode. I'm not sure if he's going to be doing much more grinding or if he's just going to go and try and sweep up fifth place.
I mean, having killed pretty much every boss on the moon except for the Bahamut spot, I'm sure his levels are looking just fine.
You're absolutely right, Swami, but you have a lot more control in the vanilla run versus, say, in Free Enterprise.
Yeah. Rivers doing his best to wreck his airship, though, before going into the fight. Nerves maybe a little sweaty thumb on the controller. The Chocosura, meanwhile, taking the second go at Gatomas.
That's a one tile like drop. You got to be frame perfect to get that.
Oh, I know. I mean, I've crushed the entire town of Troya with the big well, and I just feel sorry for all those poor innocent Trojans. They have a really great theme song,
It is one of my favoriteest themes in all of Final Fantasy.
So River is going to be the second one of our 4 featured racers on this channel to make it into the fight. Nightdew, meanwhile, has come to the correct spot to get his Legend Sword as well whenever he breaks through here. Going a little risky here, though, choosing to Zerk both of his, at least 3 different fighters, and those Globe 199s, those Globe 199s will be coming out pretty rudely if he knocks that attacker down, and oh yeah, they're coming.
Maybe he thinks he's got enough to mow him down here. Maybe this meteor will take care of it.
Yeah, should be doing substantial damage, but CPU is about to get its turn.
It's just Yang, no big deal.
And we'll be getting his Zerker turns in as well. There we go. And Yang, 4,000 HP. Yang's ready for the Zeromus fight. In fact, Nightdew's team altogether looks in perfectly fine shape to go take a swing at the final boss. So not really worried about losing out on the XP for his monk there.
No, as Rivers enters the fight at just about 1 hour 30 minutes here, definitely looks prepared. And him being a top runner, he knows the script unless there's some sort of a menuing error or minor execution error. I don't anticipate many issues, but you never know.
One thing I see that the only thing that could possibly give Rivers any trouble is the fact that his Tella has a higher level than you'd normally see coming into this fight, and as such may have a little higher agility. But Rivers has 3 powerful Zerkers. He has Rosa with 2400 HP, which means that she should be able to survive pretty much any big bang that gets thrown at her. I think plain Zerker strats are going to work just fine for Rivers here, even with a slightly faster than anticipated Zeromus.
Yeah, Rydia down on chocosura's side, so a little bit of scrambling here, but he appears to have picked everybody back up. Nice.
Yeah. Earlier, when you asked what kind of strats he had used, I'm like, probably, mostly Zerker, and I was completely wrong. Chocosura went, trying to pull off some reflect shenanigans. This round, though, going just direct Zerker, let Fu handle the healing, front row handles the damage, but Rivers is hot on his heels. It could end up costing Chocosura a place.
It absolutely could, but he's still in the driver's seat. It's his to lose, I would say, at this point.
Ooh, and with those unnerfed big bangs coming out, they're definitely doing work on him.
And speaking of nerfing big bangs, it looks as though on Riverside, Puexel actually is OP and survives that first big bang, but we are going to see an HP ran out, or maybe not. Looks as though Natara to the rescue.
She won't let you down. She rescued me during my first restream last Saturday, so I feel that on River's screen.
Absolutely, and just the way that it works sometimes, Zeromus rolls those high numbers and really makes life difficult for you. As you can see on chocosura's side, he's just slogging through here at this point.
Yeah, we'll get through eventually. Of course, we can tell by comparing the HP totals that Rivers and I believe nightdew as well both have many more levels on their actual attackers. May make a difference here. We'll see very soon. Nightdew has a little more catching up to do, but ooh, rocks are falling for Chocosura. Won't be long now. Here we go.
No, definitely. When Meteor happens from Zeromus, he has 12,000 or less HP, so he's just looking to knock him down here and finish off the map.
Yeah. More rocks falling. Come on, Chocosura. Bring it home. Bring it home, dude. And I do like... I like all these Meteos being dodged by Kane and Fu. Oh, there we go. Get your GGs out. Chocosura has finished in 5th overall with a 133.17. GG, Chocosura.
GG. Excellent work. This is a really tough game to do that.
Yeah, and we were a little bit nervous there when he had that first wipe, but he still managed to stay above the rest of the pack. Rivers should be cleaning up here very soon. We see rocks falling for him. So keep your eyes out for the crack-a-boosh on his screen. Should be coming in soon.
Thank you, Demarine. Choco trying to chase down Dusty Griff as Rivers finishes off his fight in an official time of 1:34.20. So GG to riversmccown as well, and he will pick up 8 points, I believe, for that 6th place finish.
And one notable thing to compare there is that Chocosura didn't do any of the moon. Rivers cleared nearly every lunar subterranean boss, and just a minute and 3 seconds behind. Excellently executed. Definitely had the advantage of the levels from those extra fights and key items, but also just to clear that many spots that quickly. Wonderfully executed.
Absolutely, and for Rivers to come back and finish 6th after almost basically full clearing moon, definitely a testament to his skill and abilities in this game.
And also, no foo. Everyone else making the Baron play, so that definitely shaved several minutes for Rivers. That other racers, maybe they got it back by having foo, maybe they didn't, but beautifully executed nonetheless. Meanwhile, nightdew here, going with what appear to be hybrid strats. I do see some reflected nukes being flung at Gatomas. The reason that a lot of our racers will do the reflected spells is that if you attack him directly, Zeromus will counter with a spell, either a nuke or a virus, depending on the particular timing and the particular spell used. Sometimes even weak, actually. So if you instead reflect your attack magic off your own team, you don't draw any kind of counterattack. So, little way to be extra safe there.
Absolutely. Those nukes from Zoromus definitely hurt.
Of course, we've mentioned nerfing the Big Bangs. If you time it right, and of course, if you do it at the very start of the fight, causing one of those nukes to happen will lower Zeromus's magic, spell power, thus resulting in a much weaker Big Bang, one that can only do 1200 damage max instead of 2400 or 2700. But we are joined both by Chocosura and riversmccown. GG, both of you.
GG, thank you.
I have honestly the same question for both of you. Were you watching the IRC chat when Dusty Griff came in first? And if so, what went through your head when you saw that? Chocosura, you want to go first?
Yeah, I did see the first place finish, and yeah, I wasn't in any position to actually, metagame right there, but I decided to go back for the CPU just because I didn't want to leave it before checking anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And it just happened to be there.
Now, Rivers, it was a little trickier for you because you were already on the moon at that point. What went through your head at that specific moment?
I wanted to wait about 2 or 3 minutes there because I wasn't sure if this is going to be like a tidal wave of dot done, so I'd skip Baron, or if it was just going to be like 1 or 2 trickling in. Once it was 1 or 2, I kind of figured the spot it was because it was the only other one I left on Overworld, and I rushed right there.
Excellent. And by the way, nightdew has come in 7th overall with a 137.09. So the three of you on our restream just going bing, bang, boom. Very well done, all of you. But now, when you said you realized it was that spot, or you thought it was that spot, what made you keep clearing out more lunar bosses? Just you figured you could do grind and other stuff at one time, or were you just hoping for the long shot?
Hoping. Well, first I was hoping, but maybe Dusty did what I did and then went right to what is it, Cape Bahamut, and I was like, okay, well, if Dusty did that, then I mean, he's set up really well, and I should go there too. Didn't happen, but that's okay. And then after that, I just wanted the experience at that point. I was like, I know where this is now, but I'm going to have to grind it out.
Gotcha. And Chocosura, you did have that one wipe during the Zeromus fight. How did that make you change up your plan when you went back into it the second time?
I didn't really had to change plans. Really, I just got unfortunate with the high roll Big Bang on Fu, and it just fell apart from there.
Gotcha. Just wondering if you'd, change things up at all, or if it was just okay. Let's just not get unlucky.
Right. I already had my team set up the way I wanted them. I had 14 agility on Teller, so I was just gonna try again. I just got unlucky.
And Smateby, if you're listening, I'm not sure if the overlay setting is correct. It still has the speaker on nightdew, but chat is calling for music on Poidrac stream, so that's not flipped over. Please rock that for us when you get a chance.
Another.
Oh, at least chat will get a lot of music here. It is the Gauntlet at Dark Elf.
Oh, wow. Where was Darkness, by the way?
Single dip, lower Babel.
Oh, okay. That was probably my next stop if CPU was nothing.
Nightdew has joined us as well. GG, Nightdew.
Thank you.
Now, you were also on the moon, I believe, when the first dot done came in. I'll ask you the same question I asked Chocosura and Rivers. What went through your head at that point? Did you metagame at all, decide that you needed to change routes? What made you do what you did at that point?
I heard Rivers talking about this as soon as I jumped in. As soon as I saw that dot done, I arrived kind of at the same conclusion. I was definitely hoping for the long shot. I mean, those were some pretty easy bosses up top of the moon. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out, and as soon as I had those 3 bosses down, I had my double XP multiplier. It was time to hit a couple Ryus, and then the CPU I orphaned back on the surface, which was the only thing I left down there. So, yeah.
What made all of you, when you saw Bahamut at Leviathan, you were like, I got Star Veils, this thing's going down. What made you decide to, like you said, orphan that CPU and leave it alone at the time, nightdew?
I was actually planning on hitting it at that point because I figured, at that point it was just such a long thing. And then Bahamut dropped the pan, and I'm like, well, nope, I'm going after this now.
The pan was, yeah, definitely a little bit of a siren song for everyone, it seems.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did too. I saw that pan, went right for it.
See, if I had actually had Fu, I probably would have been more amenable to those terms, because you have Kane, you might have Meteor at that point. It makes it a little bit more viable than what I had. Like when I was there, I was like, well, I've got Kane and Kane, so bye.
Yeah, I think you were the only one of our 4 featured racers, Rivers, to not have a Fu in your final party. I mean, Poidrac's still working through here, but the Baron skip was a gamble, and you made excellent time with your team. But I just wonder how things would have played out differently if you had that Fu. So yeah.
Yep. Well, that's it's one of those things where you can't really predict how the randomizer is going to shake out, and if that's Rydia, then I think everybody's far behind, and we're all going to the moon at the same time, pretty much.
Exactly. Now, of course, this closes out the League Forge tables for the event. Starting tomorrow morning, over on the Free Enterprise channel, we'll be racing Reject Percent. Are you 3 all going to be involved tomorrow morning, or what are your plans to partake this weekend?
I'm gonna try to do at least 3 of them. I don't know if I'm gonna do all 4, because reject percentage is not my cup of tea. So I'll see what I can do with it.
Gotcha. Nightdew, how about you?
It's like the siren song. You'll probably see me until either I qualify or the races are done.
Rivers, any more aces up your sleeve with interesting reject percent strats?
I mean, we'll see. I've been charting this out a little bit, but yeah, I'm planning to make it Saturday morning, and then after that, kind of busy, so we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Gotcha. And just a reminder to everyone in chat, make sure you give all 4 of these featured racers a follow. They're all excellent runners of this game. You can hear it by just how they're explaining their decisions here, how well they understand it. If you want to learn more about the game, come to the Discord, watch some of these streamers, and get involved. In the meantime, I think we're going to be just rooting for Poidrac the rest of the way here. Do any of you 3 have any final thoughts about this race tonight?
Just one. I kind of wish I didn't go back for a Sura.
Oh.
But at least I got Fu in the end at Baron.
Yeah, she was rude to a lot of people.
Yeah, I tried to get the trick where you hit her and she doesn't heal. You can keep on a life 1 phase.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I tried to do, but I messed up a couple of times, and I just decided to forget it and move on. Come back later.
Gotcha.
While we've been going through the commentary here, a couple of more finishers. We have Kobahi finishing in 8th place with a time of 1:40.57, and Niram in 9th place with a time of 1:41.29. So GG to them as well.
GG's. And it looks like Poidrac is maybe on his way to giving us a lovely 17 of 17. Fingers crossed. Come on, go back to Feymarch, Poidrac. You're here in the underground. You've cleared off a ton of ground already. Go take care of that CPU.
Let's go, Poidrac.
Come on, Poidrac.
You got
Absolutely.
this.
I do have a feeling, though, at this point, with the people who have finished, we may have been the lucky stream that actually got Twin Harp music compared to the other 2. So that makes Poidrac the real winner of tonight, in my opinion.
Where was Twin Harp, by the way?
I missed it. we were talking to y'all when Poidrac found it. So, Dimmerine, our tracker, filling us in. It was the reward for clearing Tower of Zot with the Earth Crystal.
Ah, okay.
And it was Freya's theme from FF9.
At this point, these last few weeks have made me just think, never go moon anymore. Why would you go to the moon? Seems like a terrible place.
It seems that every time I want to go to the moon, there's something up there that I need to get. And the times I do go to the moon, it's a bust. I don't trust the moon anymore.
And yet we will still go there.
Yeah.
Well, the good news for Poidrac is that you do get to see the key item in the sealed cave before having to fight the boss. You do have to walk down quite a few floors to get there in a very long and kind of annoyingly laid out dungeon. But Poidrac will get to see the key item. No, okay, I don't have to fight this boss. Let me out of here. Let's go back to Feymarch.
The question is, did he save? I don't know if he saved before he entered the cave.
Well, that's still not a problem. We know this can't be the Legend Sword. So when Poidrac sees this, no matter how far back he was, given that he did an Earth Crystal check into Twin Harp, that didn't pay off. Did the Tower Key check, which gave the Luca Key. Even at this point, resetting back a ways, given that Poidrac, I believe, grinded Gold Dragons on the moon already, shouldn't actually be a problem. Yeah, like Neon saying in chat, Galaxy Brain saving even further away.
This is very true.
It's a
Oh, look, a useless ribbon. Sorry, the ribbon is not useless. It's a great hat. If you don't have a hat, I would wear a ribbon.
Yeah, it does have some of the best magic defense and evade of any helmet in the game, and it gives a plethora of status resistances. But now, I think Poidrac has one place left to go.
I wonder where that might be. Still has a chance at 10th place here, so...
That's true. We are still waiting on a few more people to come across the finish line. Poidrac is not out of this yet, but even taking 12th place gets you a point towards those final standings, and whoever has the most points at the end of all 7 weeks wins the whole shebang. Going to be very hard for people to catch Dusty Griff at this point, but there's still plenty of glory on the table.
Absolutely. To Reject percent, to Catalyte Tadward percent, and everybody's favorite, the 2v2 to wrap it all up.
Oh yeah, love me some 2v2 action. Looking forward to seeing it take the big stage again.
Absolutely. So we're just going to see a save here from Poidrac, I believe. Cabin up, and he's going to go take on CPU there and get his Legend Sword and be very happy, and maybe even get it done before sub 2.
Entirely possible. The CPU fight will take a little bit of time, but Poidrac is a very strong team at this point.
Yes, I don't anticipate any problems with this fight or with the Z fight at this point.
Nightdew in chat pointing out exactly what he did with Porum. I believe you picked her up, you got the Sand Ruby, and then you left her in the desert, stranded and alone. You monster.
I will defend you, Nightdew. At least you left her in a town. Some other people just left her at the side of the road.
The Dwarf Castle's not the side of the road. It's a wonderful place. Lally ho.
Sand Ruby was Rosa Bay supremacy.
Yeah, Edge was the moon character. That gosh darn it is the sound of a player who had to rely on Porum. I can feel it.
Absolutely. Did Poidrac do package check? Did anybody do package check?
I'm uncertain. At this point, who are we missing? We've not seen Sid in the scene. We've not seen... Actually, did anyone in chat catch the 2 characters at the top of Tower of Zot? I did not see those.
And Poidrac, showing off the float strat. So really quickly, it looks as though CPU and the attacker are floating. Fun fact, they actually aren't. So you can reflect the float spell off of yourself onto the enemy, and if it hits the attacker, you can then use Quake on CPU, not to kill the attacker and not cause Globe 199 to occur. So that's always fun.
Gotcha, and thank you, Fragbait. It turned out it was Cecil and Sid in the Tower of Zot. So that explains that. So Cecil and Sid were there. We're still missing... Oh goodness, who are we missing at this point? We're missing the package character, and we're missing someone in Babel. Or probably in the Giant of Babel. And there's still a duplicate. So who's that 12th character who never peeked their head out?
That would be Palom.
Palom, yeah, the good Black Mage. Okay, Quack Kid. We do have a 10th place finisher, though. Zyrak has wrapped up with a 1 hour, 50 minute, 52 second finish. GG's to Zyrak. Poidrac here, on the right trail at this point, having completed most of the seed. It is between him, and I believe Dragon Dark is also still in the race at this point.
Absolutely. Let's go, Poidrac. Take down that CPU and finish strong. I know you can do it. Give Kane all the HP he needs. He'll do the rest.
And it is interesting, by the way, to see the variety of strats that our racers have tried on this fight. We have seen the float strats, like you mentioned, or at least an attempt at them. There was, of course, just straight up let your attackers attack, your healers heal, everything will be okay. And then there were, of course, power overwhelming strats. Forget the Globe 99. I've got my levels. Let's just power through it. Throw a Meteo in there for good measure. What do I have to worry about?
Question in chat from Golan7. What is with Grey Rydia? We have a flag in Free Enterprise called the Fab flag. Scala Kitty, one of our head engineers, has been nice enough to make multiple sprites. And in this case, you get a Grey Rydia, which is pretty awesome. She's in her goth phase.
We've all been there. We've all been there.
I apologize, Neon. I meant to say HP and not MP. It's getting a little late for me.
Yeah, so she's not the only one with a slightly altered palette. You'll note that the Poidrax Fusoya also in gray. I believe Yang is dressed ever so slightly differently. Maybe not. That might be his vanilla outfit. And Kane, I think, is a slightly lighter shade of blue than normal.
Oh, give Kane MP. Well, you'd have to find a Soma drop, and so far in this seed, I haven't seen any Soma drops. Or we would have seen Tella doing work.
Now, question I have is, Poidrax still has that pink tail hanging out in his inventory. I wonder if he'll actually go bother turning that in. At this point, Adamant Armor, I mean, your team is very strong, but an Adamant Armor, best piece of gear in the game, plus 15 to every stat, elemental resistances to everything, wonderful piece of gear. Do you really need it? Do you take the time to go shuffle your hovercraft around and turn that in? Or are you headed straight to the Zeromus fight?
I think at this point, I turn it in, because I got it at this point for the fans. They want to see it. But it looks as though Poidrac's just going to go to Troya and take care of the final boss.
It could also be a situation where if Poidrac turned it in earlier before making some other plays, and then, of course, after resetting upon seeing that Sealed Cave did not have anything of value, could be a situation like that. Could be you think you have it, but you don't at this point, which is fine. Ooh, does put Fu in the anchor spot. We have mentioned in passing how ATB in this game uses a fairly interesting system, in which case, if you don't have Cecil in your team, then whichever character is in the middle slot is the person for which all the monsters and all your other characters' relative agility is calculated. Fu has a static agility of 20, which is getting towards the rough side of things. Ideally,
Yes.
you'd have it really low for your anchor, either like sub 14 or at exactly 28. Zeromus is the same speed, no matter whether your anchor agility is 1 all the way up to 27. So all you're doing is slowing down your other party members. Zeromus is going to be as fast as he wants to be. Your other characters are getting slower and slower and slower. Still, though, a very strong team. Poidrac should be able to close this out.
I think so too. Mr. Weird Guy asks in chat, Tribu's cap at what, 99? Absolutely, 99 would be the most. And DJ ATC, where can you get an adamant armor IRL? I would look in your local adamant cave.
You have to find a very, very itty bitty person who also runs a mine. So
And you need a rat tail and a hovercraft.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
luck.
Just find your friends who are about 4 inches tall, and give them tiny pickaxes, and there you go. You're all set. And Dragon Dark has come in 11th place with a 155.42. GG Dragon Dark. Poidrac, of course, not going to give up yet. Gonna kick Gato's butt tonight and at least secure that 1 point towards the World Series standings, which is something that not every racer in this event will get to claim. So GG's to Poidrac for sticking with it. Let's see how this fight shakes out here at the end.
Question in chat, how do I get this version of the game? I'll follow that link to ff4fe.com. Now, I do need to let you know you do need a version 1.1 of the Final Fantasy II ROM. However you find that is completely up to you. We in the Discord will not be able to direct you to a source for that ROM, but you know, there's a large search engine I've heard of that can probably help you out with a solution to that.
Anyway, Poidrac here going for appears to be sort of hybrid strats. Did throw a direct nuke at Gato, accepted the counter nuke, but that was to nerf the first Big Bang. When it comes out, it will not be able to do more than 1,200 damage to a single target, and is now throwing spells off of walls to make sure we don't see any more of those counter nukes.
Absolutely. So far, nothing out of the ordinary here. His characters all have pretty decent HP. Even Porum there has 1900 HP, so I don't anticipate many issues here.
Yeah, definitely there are some Big Bangs where that can be a little hairy. Ones where you go for 2,000, 700. Ooh. Apparently, that we must be a little further into the fight than I realized, because that was definitely an unnerfed Big Bang. Okay, it was the second one. There's the black hole. Apologies. Got a little distracted at the start of that fight. So, attempted to nerf that one, did not get the nerf off, came out at full power, but really, really good magical defense gear on Porum. Still brought it down to sub 1,300, which is what you want to see. You don't want to be seeing these 2,200 ones peeling off at your team.
No,
and this,
absolutely not.
And it's a great indicator of how this fight is anything but trivial.
Absolutely, but and it just does show that 20 relative agility does create some potential challenges out there.
But it recovers nicely. It's going to be very hard for Poidrac to get fully wiped here. Does have 3,500 max HP on Kane, 5,000 on Young. Even if his team takes a tumble, eventually that black hole will come out. Although, looking in dangerous shape now.
Yeah, that Cure 4 was single target, I think, on food. That might have just made this a little more exciting.
Yeah. And that virus will knock off Porum. Neon, a moment ago, said something about, Anchor Foo is fine. Well, when Zeromus is so fast that you can't pick your Foo up and heal your Foo, and even get your heals in on your other party members, that's where things get tricky. Poidrac, very lucky though, did just see a black hole come out, which will remove the Berserk status from his characters. Throw those Cure 3s fast and furious. Big Bang already out again. Can't even get an item use off. Neon, I 100% disagree with you, thinking that 20 is an acceptable anchor speed. Absolutely disagree. At this point, I may be looking at my other teammates, seeing if there is a character in my party that's around the 28 range, a little above 28. I know some of our racers earlier had a ninja hat, which will give an agility boost to a character if you need to get them just above that level. So definitely ways to manipulate your party's agility with equipment. And of course, there's still that pink tail in the inventory. You can go get that adamant armor if you need to. DJ,
Yeah, nobody would say no.
yeah. DJ, I never saw one of our 4 racers equip a cursed ring. If there was one, I didn't see it. I know Demarine was our tracker. Demi, did you see anyone wielding a cursed ring? Yeah, none spotted. None spotted. Ooh, Supremacy had one of our featured racers on another channel tonight.
It's okay. We've got I think Porn's in the middle this time. It might be good. We'll see.
Yeah.
You'll always know right away if Zerma shakes more than once before you get your turn to use a crystal, you know you're in for a fun time.
Well, I mean, that still does have Fu in the middle, by the way. But even that's not quite always the case. Because sometimes if you have, a 28 or a 42 agility anchor, Zeromus will get a few extra in at the start. But afterwards, you'll have kind of an advantage going forward through the rest of the fight.
Yeah, I also find when you lose characters, I don't know the innards of this, but I find that Zeromus seems to speed up somehow. I'm not quite sure how.
No, you're absolutely right on that. And community member Simbu, for those of you who are looking to step up your Zeromus game, has an entire little sequence of videos that I like to call Zeromus 201. Newbie Guide has Zeromus 101. If you're ready for, your sophomore level classes, that's the ticket right there. The way Final Fantasy IV's engine works is that it can't resolve multiple actions at once. So you have characters at similar speeds that all have their actions going off. Well, they're going to go in order instead of simultaneously. And as long as you have characters up taking actions, Zeromus can't take his next turn until they've all taken theirs. If you have no actions queued up, Zeromus is just going to keep going, especially if you have your battle speed set all the way up to 1. So it can really behoove you, if you're still getting your legs, turn that battle speed down to 3 or so, 4 if you really need it. Get those extra turns in, instead of Zeromus just going, me attack you, me attack you, me attack you, nonstop.
I also did just notice that Poidrac is only throwing slow and not a silk web. In the J version, a silk web slows down your enemy to the lowest speed possible. Whereas a slow, I don't know how it stacks, but I think you need at least 2 stacks for it to go to the slowest speed. So that could also be why Zeromus seems still a little bit fast.
Yeah, the way it works is that you can apply slow twice, which a silk web will do in 1 fell swoop for you, or you can apply fast 1 1/3 times, which is one reason why fast is nearly fast, Hermes shoes, haste, whatever you want to call them in this game, don't actually have that much utility, not compared to slowing the enemy down.
Good to know. Today I learned something.
And Demarine, our wonderful tracker for the night, keeping all these key items in order for us. Thank you for the resub. And thank you for supporting RPG Limit Break, our home this evening. Wonderful channel for all sorts of RPG-based speed runs and good times.
Also, shout outs to my co-commentator Invenerable. Make sure you give him a follow. He's super awesome at this game. Also to our wonderful Wii streamer Smapedy, who is behind the scenes making all the magic happen, and Demarine, who has been lighting up all of the key items for us tonight. So make sure you give them all a follow. They're really awesome.
And make sure you follow Nitsky as well. He's a little too humble to call himself out, but come on. You see those 4 names there. You know what to do. Charlie in chat, by the way, asking about how did Zeromus become Gatomus? Well, one of the fun things of Free Enterprise is since we don't randomize Zeromus' location or script, we do randomize his sprite most of the time. That little -Z flag at the end of the flag string, well, there are over 365 Zeroma sprites in the pool now. You could theoretically have a seeded day for a full year and never see the same sprite twice. And speak of the devil, who makes most of those happen, that would be one of our head engineers, Scala Kitty herself. Scala Kitty, 10 months in a row. Thank you for the resub. And thank you for all that you do for free enterprise and the community, by the way. This overlay, Scala did it. Most of these, all these fab flags, all these cool outfits our heroes are wearing, Scala did it. Tonight's seed that tormented our racers, Scala did it.
So yeah, give her a follow. Show her some love as well. She really goes above and beyond for the whole community, and does this all in what I believe to be spare time. So definitely appreciate all of the hard work that she puts into this to make the game amazing and great for all of us.
Poidrac, apparently his Yang did something to tick Redia off. She hit him with a nuke. This is what happens if Zeromas can get that black hole queued before you get your spell queued. He will, of course, remove the reflect status from your character, and then your nuke will knock them down. It's something you have to keep in mind with reflect strats. However, Poidrac's in great shape here. Rocks are falling, so it's a ton of HP on 3 of his 4 standing characters. It's all over but the Shaken. Let's see him bring this home tonight. Very nice nuke. Still not there yet. And Kane finishes it. Poidrac has wrapped up our final table tonight. 12th place, 2 hours, 6 minutes, 48 seconds. GG to Poidrac. We'll see if we can get him in here for a brief interview.
GG Poidrac, well played. It's a very tough set of flags, and this is an elite group. If he was just running this on his own, 206.48 is probably a pretty decent time, especially for a full clear. So definitely shout out to him going through and definitely finishing it out in style, no less, with your boy Keen delivering the final blow. And I believe we have Poidrac in now.
Hey, GG Poidrac, way to stick with it.
Well, I knew going in as technically the lowest ranked racer in this, it was always going to be a difficult thing to be better than last, but to be honest, I'm okay with it.
I mean, you full cleared the seed, and I think the most important thing you did for everyone was making that Twin Heart play. I doubt any of the other streams got to see that. If they did, anyone viewing those, fill us in. But you gave everyone beautiful Twin Heart music, and you gave us quite a quantity of it, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm always glad to give that sort of thing when it's available. But yeah, that CPU, I think, was the kicker for me. I completely forgot about it, and obviously the last piece is there.
Hey, it's all good. I mean, you made the final table, you wrapped up the seed, and great time, given that you did pretty much full clear everything. You gave people their chance to spam their free enterprise 17 of 17s and enjoy it. So you're at least number 1 in our hearts, even if you weren't number 1 in the race.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't racing for anything better than 12. Whatever I got was good enough, really. I didn't expect to be here. There's a whole lot of other races which, in my opinion, are more deserving to be there. It's just I snuck in right at the last gate. But I was here, I might as well do the best I can, and that was it.
Oh, hey, there's always tomorrow. We do have reject percent coming in. Are you going to be showing up for these 4 qualifiers this weekend?
Every single one. This is the reject percent is technically my favourite of the lot. I'm probably not going to do any better than most of the other ones, but who knows? I might sneak in through the posts again without anyone seeing.
Well, so everyone, make sure you're looking out on twitch.tv/freeenterprise. I believe our Saturday and Sunday evening qualifiers are going to be the ones being restreamed. But of course, make sure you follow all 4 of our racers tonight, including Poidrac. You can watch him racing these tomorrow and Sunday, striving to make another final table. And Nitsky, I think we are about done here tonight. Do you have any other thoughts this evening, my friend?
No, amazing race to everybody. Thanks to Poidrac for sticking it out there. Congratulations to Dusty Griff for pulling off the victory and zooming out into the lead. I think it was a great race, and I had a wonderful time co-commentating with you as always, Inven. And again, shout out to Smapity, taking care of us, making sure everything works great. Thanks for helping out with my audio issue. To Demarine and all the hard workers, all the workshop helpers, all the head engineers, to Rivers McCown, to Boardface for making it possible, to Solakitty for all this rights. So I couldn't say it any better myself.
And one final reminder, if any of you are unfamiliar with Free Enterprise and want to see what the game's all about, follow that link that we just had Moobot post. From there, try the game out, come to our Discord, ask people questions. Very friendly, very welcoming community. Always glad to help new racers get their legs. And come have fun with us. Revisit a classic and have a blast doing it.
Absolutely. On behalf of Invenerable and the rest of the team here at RPG Limit Break, thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful night.
Good night, everybody.